What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video with your boy Thick F30. Now, a couple of weeks ago I released a video talking about basically why I think the M2 is just such a fantastic car, and especially right now for the amount that they're going for, and kind of the differences between the S55 version, the competition version, and the N55B version, and really just my opinion overall on like why I love the car so much and why I think a lot of people could benefit from owning one at some point in their life. But what we did not touch on are the things that I do not like about this car. And we're coming up on 9 months that I've owned this car for. And I'll be dead honest with you guys, it was really difficult for me to come up with a solid list for you guys of things that I do not like about this car. So I will fully admit that some of these are kind of reaching. Some of these points are a little bit stretching, but they are valid. I think they're all valid. Anyways, guys, we're pulling up Starbucks right now. I'm gonna grab a coffee and we're gonna get into this video. I think it's gonna be a good one. I think that there's gonna be some good points here, and if you guys have anything to add, please do comment down below. If you have any like remedies or fixes for some of these problems, also comment down below. Like I said, man, I really had to reach to make this list because I just love the M2. I think this is such a killer car. And for those who are new to this channel and maybe just found this video just randomly, this is a 2017 BMW manual F87 N55B. So this is not the competition that comes with the S55. I still have not completely gotten used to the new wheels. It's just a different look. Still trying to get used to it. They look so good, man. Like, I'm just obsessed with these wheels. They look so good on this car. I really wasn't sure like how 18s would go. I was not sure, man. The only reference I had was an F80 with a similar suspension setup, but I really wasn't sure how my M2 would look with the 18s. But man, I think we knocked it out of the park. I'm really happy with it. You all know the vibe. Got that nitro cold brew. I think it's time we start making this video. I'm gonna throw this GoPro up right here. You guys let me know how you like the angles. Switch it up a little bit. Should be a good one. Oh, that nitro hits different first thing in the morning. I'm telling you what. Let's open up those valves. Like I said, you guys, this list was really tough to come up with anything. The first thing that I'm gonna bring up is the clutch play. Now, obviously, this is a manual M2 issue. I wouldn't even say issue, just a preference. Obviously, my experience with the M2 has been on a manual platform. So some of these issues or dislikes are gonna be things that relate to the manual. So, you know, if you have a DCT, feel free to chime in down below and tell us what you do or don't like about the N55B version M2 with the DCT, but I'm gonna share my experiences with the manual because the manual isn't perfect. There are things with the manual that are just very different, and some people just don't prefer them for those reasons. I think that the DCT is a little more with the times when it comes to, you know, slapping those transmissions into these cars. I think the manual is just a different breed, and so you have to be accepting of some of these flaws. And if you're buying a manual, you're not really buying the car to go like super fast and be the fastest. You're just buying it for that experience, really, like that engagement and that like how it feels to drive the car. You're not really buying the car to have the fastest if you're buying a manual. The clutches that come stock and just the way that the clutch is set up in the manual M2, there's a lot of play. Like a lot of play. Like that clutch doesn't really engage until the clutch pedal is pretty far out. And that was one thing that like I really just didn't like when I first got the car. It wasn't that big of a deal, and obviously I bought a clutch stop that remedied that issue. When I first bought the car, it was kind of weird to me. I kind of feel like BMW did that just to make it easier for most people to drive the car, because it's sick Porsche. Dude, dude, GT2 RS. Oh, in the gray, in the chalk white gray. Dude, I've been on a Porsche kick hard lately. Hard. So hard. Just major chubs over the Cayman GT4 right now, dude. Like, I've been drooling over that car. Porsche had the same idea as me, man. It's going out for a little drive in the morning. It's the way to do it. Like I was saying, the clutch has just a lot of play. Like there's a lot of time in between when that clutch pedal is all the way down and to where it actually engages. For someone like me personally, like I like engagement pretty hard and fast. So that was why I put in the clutch stop, and that literally remedied the issue. Some people take a few discs out of that clutch stop and like find that happy medium. I left all of them in. I wanted that thing to grab right away. As soon as I let off the floor, I want that clutch to engage. So getting the clutch stop obviously like it basically fixed the issue for me, but that was something to be noted. Like right off the gate, I was just kind of like weirded out by the clutch. Like it just felt strange to me. And that's, you know, obviously I wasn't used to driving this car in manual. So everything was new to me. That was my first thing. And like I said, dude, these are like so minimal. Like some of these, you know, I'm gonna sound like I'm just complaining to complain. I'm definitely not, you guys. I'm not trying to complain. I literally sat on this idea for 2 weeks trying to come up with ideas that I felt like maybe other people could resonate with or have also experienced with like manual or just M2s in general. So forgive me if I sound like I'm complaining. I'm definitely not. I love this car, and you guys know that, and I think this is just a fantastic platform. On to number 2. Okay, so this one is an obvious one too that I also remedied. The seats. Dun dun dun. The seats that come in the M2, the OG M2, are not great. They're not the greatest. Now I will say that the leather is nice on them, and you know, some people were talking about how they have like the leg extensions down below, and how the M4 seats don't have that. I never really used those, to be honest with you, and I'm a tall dude. I'm 6'2". It just felt kind of weird when I used the leg extension. It kind of like, I don't know, it felt different. I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. I really didn't like the way that the leg extensions felt, and I never used them. So it wasn't really a big deal to me when I ripped out the stock seats and threw in the M4 seats. But I will say, I mean, one of the most common complaints that you get with this car, the OG N55 M2, is that the seats, the interior kind of fell flat on its face. You didn't get the nice seats that the competition had, and the seats that came in the OG M2s were just like basically F30 seats with the M embossed on them. Not really that special. It was very strange to me that an M car came with such base level seats that didn't even have like good side bolsters. There was really like no cupping to those seats. When I put the M4 seats in, it was like night and day. I mean, it completely transformed the way that this car feels when I drive it and just the overall experience. Like, these M4 seats are just amazing. And honestly, I just got really lucky. I came up on these seats used for $1,500 to my doorstep. The guy dropped them off and we retrofitted them, and that was it. I mean, it was all said and done right there, $1,500 for what I consider a massive upgrade to the experience and just the interior of this car. So I think number 2 is super valid. The seats that come in the OG N55 M2 are just not, they just fall short for me. The next one that we're gonna talk about. Tell me if you guys are having this issue as well. So we all know that sometimes BMWs, they just get these like really random weird rattles and like creaks on their interiors. I've noticed that in this car, my charger in here, my little phone charger that's in my center console, constantly rattling, like all the time. Like there's nothing I can do to fix it. I think I'm gonna actually remove it from the car, because honestly, I don't really use it that much, but it is super annoying. And one thing that doesn't make it any better is if you're someone like me with a very loud exhaust system when it's open, it tends to bring out any of the rattles and make them a lot more extreme. The exhaust is so loud that it will shake some things in the car and just amplify any of the creaks or rattles that you have. And that's something that I've noticed when I'm driving with the valves open. There's a lot more rattling going on, and I'm starting to notice it from different areas, and there are some things that you can do here and there to kind of fix those things. But this one in here, the phone charger in my center console, there's not really a fix for that, but it has gotten to the point lately where it's just annoyed the crap out of me. So I'm gonna have to I think I'm gonna have to pull it out. Let me know if you guys have had that issue with your charger in your center console just rattling. So food for thought, if you do go for a very loud exhaust system, luckily this is valved, so I can close it. But if you do go for a very loud exhaust system, it's probably going to bring out some rattles and creaks, and it does get pretty annoying after a while. So this one is a little bit strange as well. I've had this thing happening with my iDrive that it just like randomly shuts down. Now, I don't know if you guys have had this issue as well, but I'll just be driving and everything just literally turns off. The screen goes black and it like resets. And it's been doing this, I'd say it probably does it like once a week or so, maybe less, like once every 2 weeks, but it's completely random. And it just does it at the weirdest times. Like I'll just be driving, everything's fine, listening to music, and then it literally just goes black. Everything just turns off and then it restarts. I get the M logo that pops up, and then everything resumes as if it's completely normal. Now, I don't know if that could be fixed with like a software update. Maybe it's like a weird bug. I have no idea. But it is something that I noticed that was just really wonky. Like my F series never did that. My E series never did that. It's only happened in this car. And I'm really curious. I really wanted to bring this one up because I want to know if you guys have experienced this at all. Now, I do want to mention this was happening before I coded anything in my car. This was happening before I did the new ID6 Lite. This is happening before I coded anything with Beamer Code in my car. So it's not coding related. If anything, I think it would have a lot more to do with the software. I think that it could be like a software update thing. So yeah, that's a random one. iDrive just randomly turns off. Don't know why. If you guys have that issue too, comment down below and let me know. All right, so the last one that we're going to talk about, you guys, is basically like MDM mode. And the way that the limited slip is set up in this car with stability control, traction control, whatever you want to call it. So it's interesting. When you're in, and this probably only has to do with the manuals. I don't think that this is a thing with the DCTs. Maybe I'm wrong. Comment down below, let me know. When you are in Sport Plus mode, which is the mode that I generally drive in, because it has a better throttle response. The car just overall seems to drive a lot quicker and peppier in Sport Plus. The problem is your traction control is not all the way off when you're in Sport Plus mode, so a lot of that stability control will kick in if you start to lose grip. As you guys know, or may not know, this car is flashed with Thor. What Thor does is it allows a little bit more slippage when you're in Sport Plus mode, for example. But there still is a little bit of bog anytime that stability control kicks in. When traction control kicks in, your car just bogs. But the car overall, when traction control is completely off, just seems to drive a little bit slower. It seems to drive faster in Sport Plus mode. It has better throttle response, but when you have slippage, it bogs on you because traction control kicks in. So really, when you're driving this car, it drives like the best with traction control completely off, because then you're completely in control of what's happening with the car. When traction control kicks in, the car just kind of like takes over and like shuts down. It's like, oh God, we're slipping, I'm gonna stop. Which is great for like your everyday driver who isn't trying to like go crazy in the car and just like do whatever they want with it. But it would have been nice if BMW had a mode where you still got that throttle response that you get in Sport Plus mode, and you got that complete stability control off. So the best of both worlds. Like you got both of those modes all in one. That, in my opinion, would have been the best setup for this car. It doesn't have that though. You have to pick. You have to decide between, do you want Sport Plus with that increased throttle response, but it's gonna bog anytime that you slip, or do you want traction control completely off mode and you have full control, but it's just gonna spin and you're not really gonna get that increased throttle response. There's also a little bit of a bog in between gears. So every time that you shift, as soon as you hit the gas after shifting, depending on how fast you shift, if you're shifting really fast, as soon as you hit that gas after shifting, there's like a 2 second, like a bog, like a delay. And some people say it's the clutch delay valve. Some people say that the diverter valve helps with that. It does a little bit, but it's still it's still there. From what I understand, that's something that the DCTs do not suffer from. So that is just a manual thing. I don't know if it's wastegate related or transmission related. I've read a few things on it. I haven't dove into it enough to confidently talk about why it does what it does. Wow. My God. It's like, you're making a lot of noise for no reason, bro. I flashed this car with Thor, which did a few things. It increased the stiffness in the steering. So, you know, you get a lot of people who kind of complain about the electric feel of the steering, especially if you come from like the E series. Like I came from an E90 M3. So driving this car after the E90 M3, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more electronic assist in this car. I will say that, you know, the Thor really helped out by stiffening the steering wheel, and then also having the manual just kind of, it brings a little bit more of that rawness back into the driving experience that I feel like a lot of people complain about not having when they go to like an F series that's DCT. So if like I had this in DCT, it would probably feel a lot more numb driving, but having this in manual and then flash with Thor, it really helped out big time, man, with making this feel a little bit more, I'm not gonna say hydraulic, but a little more raw. The experience felt a little bit more raw. And the other thing that Thor allowed this car to do is have a little bit more slippage in the LSD. So when I am in Sport Plus mode and I lose traction, it allows the car to have a little bit more slip, whereas before, as soon as it lost traction, it would just bog completely. Well, now it gives it a little bit more room to play with. So Thor was sort of the remedy for that issue, but it didn't fix it. All right. Well, I tried. I tried to come up with some reasons for you guys, but oh man, we need a little bit of a bath. Filthy, filthy. That's how it goes, man. I like to drive my cars. I drive them. I'm not saving mileage for the next person. Forget about it. All right, you guys, so tell me what you think about that list. Like I said, man, some of it, I was reaching. I was really struggling to find things that I didn't really like about this car, because this car is great, man. This car is fantastic. As you guys saw in the other video, I was talking about the truth about this car and why I like it so much. There are so many reasons as to why I think this is such a just a killer platform. So yes, I was definitely struggling on finding some of the things that I didn't like about this car, but I really wanted to do this because I wanted to hear your guys' opinions, man. I want to know what you guys think. If you have this car, even better, if you have it in manual, tell me if you guys are experiencing these problems as well. I'm sure that I left out a few that you guys can touch on, a few things that maybe you don't like about your M2 or things that just annoy you or bother you. Comment down below, because I really do want to hear your thoughts, and I really do want to like engage with you guys on the things that you don't like about your M2s. It's always great to open up the comment section like a forum so other people can get help if they're having issues with their cars. For me personally, the charger in the center console, I never use it. I have a magnetic USB charging cable in the car, and if I want to charge it, I just do that so I can leave it up front, but I don't use the one in the center console. I think it's neat to have, maybe for like road trips or something, but I just don't use it. I don't find any use for it. So if I can't find a way to like fix the creaking and the rattling, I'm just gonna take it out, maybe sell it or something. I just don't really have any use for it. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys have a fix for it. Maybe you guys have had this issue before and someone has already come up with a way to fix the rattling or just decrease the noise. I think most of it is my fault because I have a super loud exhaust system and that just reverberates the whole car a lot more. So any of those little rattles kind of just get amplified. But anyways, you guys, please do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching the video. You guys have just been amazing and absolutely killing it lately. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe, comment down below, like this video, hit that bell notification, and just like that, this video is over, and we're out. Peace.